Welcome back to another episode of the Sports Dan Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Hooker here, and who I'm here with today?
Justin Helms, host of the At the Helm podcast.
Okay.
Sometime in the next 2 days.
Okay, Justin. So, what did you learn from the last couple weeks' games?
I mean, there was a lot of things I could say I learned. What I put in my own notes. Shall I let this man introduce himself first?
Hey, man, we are back with another one, man. It is the screaming king of the dog nation. And we just back, man. We back for good vibes, bro. I know y'all getting tired of hearing this family fan talk, bro. So let's get into it. Let's go.
Okay, but the biggest thing I learned so far, and I could really take this two routes, but I'm gonna take it a route that I've been wanting to say is that the playing field in terms of talent across college football is being leveled out. You can see the teams that were dominant are not as dominant. The teams that were okay are a little bit better than okay now. They actually challenge bigger teams and stuff like that. It's no longer just like top dogs, everybody else. And like you said last time, it's like teams like Bama and Ohio State and all these teams, they're not top dogs. They're one of the dogs. Like they are in that group. And it's just so obvious when you have back-to-back weeks. TCU almost goes out and loses to who was it just 2 weeks ago?
Oh, Texas.
Mind blanking. Yeah, Texas. They almost go out and lose to Texas, and then Michigan almost loses to Illinois just to turn around and then whoop Ohio State. Clemson's out here losing to South Carolina. Tennessee loses to South Carolina. Like there's just so much. Like there's no. It's hard to even call them upsets. Like it's just like all these teams are good enough to beat each other. Like it's hard to even say like, oh, blah 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 upsetted whoever. Is it really though? Like and then they go on and lose two more. So it's like it's a lot of these teams. It's just you can tell the level of talent is definitely leveling out. Like it's coming to even just due to mostly I feel like the transfer portal, NIL deals, stuff like that. Like these kids aren't going to sit forever. And then if they can go get money at a school, more money at one school with an NIL than they can at another, they're going to do that. So right now, it's just so obvious to me that a lot of schools are, I wouldn't say catching up, but it's becoming even. Like,
yeah. Zamir, what did you learn from the last couple weeks of games?
I learned that from the last couple weeks, well, first, this whole, I was like, okay, maybe Ohio State, Ohio State offense looking very good. Or so Ohio State and Tennessee, those two offenses are probably offense that can get Georgia defense some trouble anyways. All right. So about Ohio State, what I learned from them, they've been overrated this whole season. They haven't faced no challenge. They played Michigan, got blown out of the water. What I learned from Michigan was if you play physical in Michigan, punch them in the mouth, they're done. Like Illinois played physical football, ran it down their throat against Michigan, and they had problems with that. Ohio State didn't do that. I mean, I didn't watch the game, to be honest. I checked in, but I'm pretty sure they wasn't taking like a physical run heavy type of approach. Anyways, TCU been scraping by this whole year. Like, oh my god, like
yes, I said this. They shouldn't be top four, bro. Let them lose one game. They're done.
I mean, they deserve to be in the top four. I guess if they keep winning. You can't
just because they undefeated.
Yeah, you can't keep a undefeated Big 12 out of the. But come on, bro. They the way they've been skating by, they're not a top 4 team. They're deserving to be a top 4 team, but what I've seen from them, they're not a top 4 team like overall.
I don't like how you said Big 12 like that meant something.
Hey, it's still a Power 5 conference. That's what I said. But I don't know. And USC, see, I've been hearing a lot of people been, on the little side of, USC is the biggest threat to Georgia or whatever. But my thing is, I mean, yeah, Caleb Williams is nice, and from that last game, he really like got the Heisman in my mind. So, but I feel like just a quarterback is not going to beat Georgia. It's not going to happen. Like USC's offensive line, they definitely could. Their offensive line is definitely not as strong as it could be, and they're just going to catch trouble. And then, lastly, Georgia. The only team that can beat Georgia is Georgia. Georgia is the only team I'm worried about. If Georgia comes out and play their football, they'll win. But if they come out doing this, how they came against Missouri and Kentucky, any team can beat them. They're not. I would say Georgia is more vulnerable this year than they were last year. I think everybody knows that, but at the same time, if everybody's playing their best level of football, there's no reason Georgia shouldn't beat all these teams by more than one score. That's how I feel.
Okay. What I learned is that Jordan Travis is underrated in my opinion.
Extremely. I seen that. I was like, dang. I was watching that game.
Like Jordan Travis, like he was like punishing footer all by himself. He was a one man show. TCU, I hope TCU loses because I do not want them in the playoff at all. Like I pray they lose.
Please.
I'm
so glad Clemson lost. I wish they had lost that week, bro.
Okay, and then for Clemson, yeah, no lie. Clemson, I think DJ needs to transfer. Like he needs to go to UCLA.
What?
He needs to go to UCLA. And hear me out. Listen.
That's gross. Where did that come from?
Okay,
that was so random.
Hear me out. He's from California. The fan base doesn't want him. The fan base is going to challenge Dabo to bench him for next year and start Cade. So why not go to UCLA when DTR is leaving? You have an offensive minded coach in Chip Kelly who has success with mobile quarterbacks like DTR, Marcus Mariota.
I think it's funny how every quarterback who has problems in their original conference got to go to the Pac-12 to go get some success. I think that's really hilarious. We saw Bo Nix. We've seen these guys do it before. Like, like
I mean, it
tells you something.
It's the best thing to do.
They gotta do the best thing for themselves. And then, for LSU, you guys ruined any playoff hope.
Yeah, them boys are both.
Shout out to them. I love it.
Like, how you guys beat Bama? You guys were on a hot streak, and then you come out and lose to Texas A&M to a Jimbo Fisher-led team who just fired their offensive coordinator today.
Yeah. I think that was one of the, like, overall as a game, that has to be the worst game LSU's played. Like, when you watch them, they just looked like they couldn't figure out anything. And then the fumble for a touchdown, like, that solidified it. That's when it really flipped. Like,
yeah, and then for the Heisman race, I think Caleb Williams has won it, but it's tough because now when you think about it, if Bryce Young would have beat Tennessee,
easy, he would have took that easy, so easy.
He would have been back to back, and it's crazy to me because it's crazy to me how we talk about Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. Just to think about it. Bryce Young only went to one college football playoff. C.J. Stroud didn't even go to no college football playoff. And it's like these universities.
You don't think they still have a chance? We'll talk about it later. But
the coaching staffs have to apologize because C.J. Stroud has never even competed for a Big Ten championship since he's been there. Since he's been a starter.
He got beat by Michigan last year. I forgot. Yeah, that's true.
Bryce Young, he had his shot, but I know as a Bama fan, you're gonna blame the injuries. So, whoop-de-doo. He has won a championship. I'm just tired of seeing great talent go to waste. And then Michigan's a fraud. Michigan is a fraud to me.
I think they're a fraud to an extent. Like, I was clowning them all year long, but they went out there and they kind of proved something to me. Like, Harbaugh, I will say, to me, talent-wise, Michigan is not on the level of Georgia. Talent-wise, I don't even think Michigan's on the level of Ohio State. But Harbaugh went out there and coached. He saw that, okay, C.J. Stroud is cool, but, let's see how cool he really is. Let's see what he can really do. They went out there, they pressured that man, bro. He was throwing picks out there. He was throwing into the dirt, throwing into the air. Whenever he got pressured and he felt those pass rushers getting to him, he couldn't do it. And it's not even like Harbaugh used a recipe that hasn't been used before. Michigan did this to them last year. The same exact thing. So it's just I don't know how they went out there and Ohio State wasn't prepared for that. So I have to I won't say Michigan's a fraud, but like we've talked about before, like this is Georgia's championship to lose, like for sure. Like there's no one. I don't see Michigan beating. Like they're the second best team, so it's hard to call them fraud. But like at who's second to you? Like I can't call anybody else. Like nobody else is good enough for that title right now. Like
I just think this year Georgia has proved like they're just better than everybody right now. But I think it's just hard. It's just hard to say who's two.
I don't think there is a two. I think it's a one and everybody else. It's a lot of twos.
Yeah. I say that before I even say
because like me saying Michigan is a two, like you saying Michigan is a two, but I can't tell myself that Michigan and Alabama on a mutual field, Michigan should be the better team and win that game. I don't know. I can't really say that for them against a lot of other teams, and I feel like every team has a weakness. It comes down to coaching at the end of the day, and Ryan Day has always been a fraud to me. So
the stories write themselves. So when Georgia wins this championship, and I tell y'all it's a Mickey Mouse ring, what you gonna say then?
I'm gonna say back to back.
Y'all just said it. You just
back to back.
Y'all both just admitted that there's nobody else.
Yeah,
really,
because there's Georgia. Georgia makes everybody else look silly. It's not our fault. Y'all suck.
Y'all's team don't even look that great either, bro. Like you've seen y'all's team struggle in multiple. Y'all was struggling in the first half against Georgia Tech.
We're the best team in the nation. That's all that matters. It don't matter. So
first off, it's a marathon. It's not how you start. It's how you finish.
So does every championship team have to be the best? The best team, you know what I'm saying? No, if you're the best team that year, you're the best team that year, and we're the best team in back-to-back years. So,
yes, y'all, I give y'all that. But in terms of the level of talent y'all played, the level of competition y'all played last year to this year, there's an extreme drop-off. Now, I'm not going to sit here and call it a Mickey Mouse ring because I know how college football is. It's a hard season like this. This is not simple. Like, teams lose games, bro. Like, that's how it goes. But I will say, this ring is softer than the others in the past, 3 years,
okay, tell me this. When we had our whole defense going to the draft, what was everybody saying? Oh, Georgia's not going to be bad next year. It will be Alabama back on that podium again next year. Georgia's losing all their talent. They don't have nobody to replace N'Kobe Dean. They don't have nobody to replace Jordan Davis. And what are we doing right now? What are we doing?
I disagree with those people in the first place. Y'all's defense, I never thought y'all were going to take a step back because I know how Kirby is. We had Kirby at Bama for how many years? Like, I know that they reload. Like, I already know that. I thought Stetson wasn't going to be what he's doing this year. That's why I said y'all wasn't going to be there. Because I didn't think Stetson would be throwing 300 yards a game. Like, since when?
Yeah. Okay, but I have a question, though. So, was 2020 Alabama's ring Mickey Mouse?
Why would he say yeah?
I'm trying to think. What was 2020? That was Mac Jones and Devontae, right?
Mac Jones, Devontae, Najee, all them. And no, y'all played Jordan. Y'all blew us out. Who's messing out that year? Huh?
I mean, we played Ohio State. We had a great team.
Justin Fields had a broken ribs.
He got speared by Clemson. I didn't tell Clemson to do that.
Okay, so we can call that a Mickey Mouse. We can definitely call 2019 LSU a Mickey Mouse in the playoffs. No,
I can't say that because their team was so good. Like they beat good teams. They just whooped everybody. Like it wasn't like it was. Yeah. There was true competition that season. They were just way better. Like
okay.
Bama put up points against them. We saw that. Clemson wasn't enough to handle. I don't think anyone expected Clemson to handle them. I'm not going to lie.
No.
But
okay, so when I name these teams, say they're legit or frauds. UGA.
Legit. I'm going to say everybody else is fraud, so I'm just saying that legit. I'll say USC legit. That's okay. It.
What do you consider a fraud? Like, what is the requirement to be a fraud? Like I don't know what, like.
Okay, and when I think about it, I say if you were to put them against Alabama on neutral field, would they beat Alabama? Or say let's put them on neutral field and let them go head to head with another top 10 team. I don't think they would beat half the top 10 teams.
That's a good measuring stick. Could they beat half the top 10 teams that there are right now?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Michigan.
Legit.
I'm gonna have to say legit.
Looking at the why am I looking at the AP poll? That's gross.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna say legit because they could beat TCU. They could beat USC. I think. They already beat Ohio State. They could definitely beat Tennessee.
Yeah.
They already beat Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
They could beat Washington and they could beat Clemson. So yeah, the only teams I think that it would be like a toss up against would be UGA and USC would have to show up on a good day to convince me. But
all right, TCU. Fraud.
I told you this on the last podcast. I was like, bro, they barely beat people. Like,
yeah, USC. It's 50-50.
That's bruh. We'll talk about this during the rankings, but like USC is just lucky they're in the conference they're in. I'll say
Fraud.
Yeah, fraud. I can't even give them
Ohio State.
Fraud.
On a neutral field, again, they could beat half these teams.
Bruh. I won't lie. CJ Stroud got so exposed, bruh. Like right now, and you talk quarterbacks in college football, bruh, it's Bryce. And then it's like a lot of other guys, like, bruh. Like CJ Stroud, I think he really gapped himself in this game, bruh. They showed that you can definitely fluster him. You can rattle and shake him, bruh. He looked like how he looked in that Oregon game last year. Like, it wasn't looking great. So I'm going to have to say fraud. Like, I'm not going to lie. They ain't played nobody this season.
Okay, Bama.
Fraud. Like, we lost to Tennessee. Have you watched us this year?
I think Bama's legit.
Like,
that's crazy.
I do too. Like, when I think about it, like, your losses. Okay, Tennessee, you lost off a terrible kick off Tennessee. You lost off a 2-point conversion, a 2-point conversion rollout.
Yeah,
like
2 losses would have combined
by 3 points.
Yeah, 4.
It was 3. It was 3.
How much lost?
Yeah, 3 or 4.
I mean, Tennessee.
1.
Tennessee was 3.
Yeah, so,
we lost by
4.
field goal.
Yeah, 4. Like I think Alabama's legit with those 2 losses. I don't. Tennessee's a fraud to me.
Tennessee's definitely a fraud. I hate that I gave him as much credit as I did. You know.
I mean, with Hendon, they're a better team, but
yeah, without Hendon, no,
they're fraud.
Yeah,
Penn State's fraud. Washington's a sleeper. They could beat USC. They can beat TCU. Can they beat Ohio State?
I mean, Maryland almost beat Ohio State, so why can't they beat Ohio State?
I tried to tell people this and they ain't listen.
Michigan.
Any of these teams can be beat.
Yeah, and last one, Clemson. Clemson cannot beat nobody but Penn State, and toss up between Washington and Tennessee. Other than that, no. So
when I call a team fraud, it's I look at fraud as like they're not what they're hyped up to be, or they're not what they seem to be. When I say team is legit, meaning they're better than what, like they're getting overlooked, like Alabama. Like I think they're better than what they're like. Oh, Alabama's our top 14 this year. I still think they are top 14. Then like a team like TCU, like they're top 4. They're not top 4 to me, so they're a fraud. That's why I'm going by.
Yeah. I was listening to Greg McElroy's podcast like this morning, and like he said something that like I strongly agree with, bro. Like this year in the playoff, it's not like, because the question is always like, who are the best 4 teams? The question is no longer who are the best 4 teams this year. It's who's left. It's like we have a process of elimination. Like it's not these are the best 4 teams in college football, so we're putting them in here because we know that. It's, hey, if y'all can make it, like if you can make it through, like I guess you can get a spot. So like right now, like a lot of teams like that, like USC, I don't think they're one of the best 4 teams. TCU, I don't truly think they're one. USC, actually, they're on the line. But TCU is not one of the best 4 teams. But if those 2 teams win their conference championships, they'll most likely just be put in there, like automatically. So,
okay. So for the next one, So the transfer report has already been popping. I've been seeing a couple of people names like Cade McLemore and some Alabama's Kyrie Jackson and the offensive lineman. Um, and I seen Xavier Worthy delete all his pictures of Texas off his Instagram.
I saw that too.
So all I'm saying is he's probably going to USC if he does that, in my opinion. But what names could you see in the transfer portal next year? I mean, for this offseason coming up.
I this is, I guess I'm on Alabama Twitter too much, but I think that the quarterback from North Carolina, Drake May, I don't think he's staying. They make it seem like he doesn't want to be there. Like, he's a freshman putting up the numbers that he did. If you look at his numbers, they're right up there with any other quarterback in college football this year. CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, like literally anybody. Of course, he's playing a little bit less competition. But if you go look at the games they lose, they don't lose because of him. He's not playing bad. They lose because of other things on their team aren't good enough. The coaching wasn't good enough, or their defense wasn't good enough, or their special teams folded on them in one game. So it's just like, I think that he's probably going to end up leaving. Kyrie Jackson, I don't care about that. Like, that doesn't mean anything to anybody. But who else? I don't know. We're going to see some sleeper guys leave, and they're going to be very important players this season.
So,
I think DJ like.
So, North Carolina lost to Georgia Tech, and they lost to NC State back-to-back weeks, right? You're saying that those games wasn't on the offense? Like, did you see Drake May wasn't nothing special in those last two games they lost? Georgia Tech, he wet the bed against Georgia Tech. They got no type of offensive production that game. Come back NC State.
Georgia Tech, I'll give you that
one. NC State, I mean, he didn't do nothing crazy for you to say, oh, he just too. Are you trying to say he's too good to be at North Carolina? Where you want to go? You think he should be at?
I'm not saying he's too good. I'm just saying if you want to win, bro, like a lot of these quarterbacks do, like, you know what I'm saying? When you playing that good, you don't want to play at North Carolina so that you can win the ACC championship and still have a chance to not even make a playoff. Like, you're not going nowhere. That's the problem. Like,
if the ACC champion didn't have two losses, then North Carolina would have got in. If they didn't, if North Carolina, if North Carolina goes the season and they win all their games and they win ACC championship, they're getting in. Like, they don't need help. Like, so that's like, okay, other best situations you could do. Let's say you could send them to Ohio State, Michigan, like teams out there. Okay, why would he do that? When I feel like it's an easier path in the ACC. Like, we see Clemson isn't as strong as they are. So a team below Clemson can take that step up into being like Georgia with Alabama, like in the SEC. Like, a team below Clemson, North Carolina, Wake Forest, somebody can take that next step and elevate themselves into the playoffs. Like, okay, for example, TCU, they're finna get in the playoffs, right? Because they're handling their business, winning their games. If Drake May and North Carolina can handle their business and get in, then it'll be fine.
That's the problem, though. Like that is the case. That for sure is the case. But if they lose even one game, it's done. No, it's over. True. And that's the. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. They lost one game this season, and Alabama had lost two, and they were still behind Alabama by almost 10 spots at the time. Like, that's the problem. If you're at you can go to Alabama, you can go to a Georgia, lose two games, and look, we're still being considered to be put in the playoffs. They weren't even asking about North Carolina. It wasn't a question. They knew they weren't going.
Okay.
Like, so.
If he go to, let's say he go to, all right, just name a school. Just name the school that you think he should go to, that would be a good fit.
I want him to go to Bama. I don't trust their quarterbacks. But
all right, say he goes to Tennessee.
I mean, Tennessee, He not making it. He got to play Georgia then. Why would he? No. Like, he definitely he has a better chance of making the playoffs at North Carolina than he do at Tennessee. Because all he got to do is win. He's not playing nobody.
Okay, say he goes to Ohio State.
But that's a double-edged sword. That's the committee looks at the fact that you're not playing nobody. Like, okay, yes, you slipped through that schedule, but you didn't play anybody. TCU, if they lose one game, they'll be done. If they lose the championship this weekend, they'll be done. That's the problem. That's the problem.
No. All right. What else was I going to say? USC, they lost the game. They're finna get in. If they win out, they're in.
That's because everyone else.
Okay,
folded.
So if North Carolina didn't fold, they could be in the playoffs right now. Mm,
but all in all, I think he's. I could see him leaving because his number one receiver is gone to the draft this year. Josh Downs gone.
Yeah.
So
And
like it was
another player I was thinking about, what's his name? In Jigba. I don't know if he's leaving or whatever, or what's going on with him.
The wide receiver from
Ohio State. He was supposed to be number one. Yeah, he was supposed to be number one. I don't.
No, he's going to the draft. Literally,
You think so? You don't think he'll just?
He got hurt in the beginning of the year. I promise you. Then he got hurt again, and then I think he got shut down. But his dad was like, "Oh, we're not doing what Jamar Chase was doing, like sitting out for the rest of the year. Like we're trying to get back healthy. But there's no point. Like you're not making the playoff."
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I could see him possibly leaving to see if he can get a better off, or maybe even just stays. Honestly, I think that's a better chance.
No, he's going first round. And the crazy thing is that they're going to base it off his Rose Bowl performance. That's what's the crazy part.
You think he's going
All right,
first
so,
round? That's crazy.
Yes. For your rankings, give me your top six. I'll give you my top six first, and y'all can base it off
It's
that.
like who we think the best teams or who we think should be in that spot if we was the committee.
Both. My top six is Georgia, Michigan. I want to say USC at 3 over TCU, but I'm gonna say it. USC, TCU 4.
That's not crazy to say.
Alabama 5, Ohio State 6.
Go, Justin.
I won't lie.
No,
What'd you say?
Yeah, that's mine.
I think teams are kind of disrespecting Ohio State. Like, I don't know. It's hard for me to put a one-loss team below a 2-loss team. Like, just straight up. Like,
But it's like,
Alabama, I would love for them to be up there, which I think the committee has. I think it's a very great chance that we see Alabama over Ohio State literally tomorrow night, whenever they come out with that ranking. But in my opinion, that should never happen. There should never be a 2-loss team over a 1-loss team. I don't care what the margin is. Like, you lost more games. Like, that's usually how these things go. Like in the NFL, like if your record matters first, and then you start looking at other stuff.
All right,
so,
but if you were doing neutral site, Alabama versus Ohio State, who you taking?
I think it's a toss-up. It's going to be an extremely offensive game. Like, it's going to be no defense being played.
But the thing is, Ohio State will always have a great offense. But ever since Urban Meyer left, they have no dogs on defense.
Oh, yeah.
They have no dogs.
No cap. You're not wrong. I was going to push a Clemson narrative, kind of similar, but I'm not going to do that today. But
what Clemson narrative?
We can talk about that later. Let me do my rankings.
Don't say nothing.
My ranking, number 1, UGA. That's obvious. Best team in the country right now. Number 2, Michigan. I think that's also obvious. I don't think they're as fraudulent as people think.
Yeah.
If they show up correct, they could beat Georgia, but I don't think it's going to happen. Number 3, I'll put TCU out of respect for them being undefeated. Do I think they're the third best team in the country? Absolutely not. Not a chance. There's so many teams on this list that I think could beat them on a good day. Like, some of them on a bad day might beat them. But number 4, Ohio State. There's no way you can lose to – you only lost to a team that was one spot behind you. Like, I don't know how you dropped that far. And like I said, 2-loss teams cannot be put in that spot. Like, they can't. USC is next. They lost to a team that was ranked lower than what than the team that Ohio State lost to in Michigan. So that wouldn't make sense for USC to be above Ohio State, in my opinion. So they're number 5, and then 6 is Bama.
Okay.
Mine's the same as Justin's. If you take Alabama and you swap them with Ohio State, nobody's gonna put a 2-loss Ohio State in front of 1-loss Bama. Like, I feel like like I feel like myself too. Like I start doing this myself. Like we feel like just because we have so much respect for Saban and knowing what he can do and knowing what Alabama's known for, it's like Bama's 5. Like nah, if it was any other 2-loss team, we wouldn't be talking. Like if you look at they lost to
It's facts.
Tennessee and they lost to LSU. Like nah, I can't put them ahead of Ohio State. But I do think talent wise and just like if they're playing their best football, if every team's playing their best football, I do think Alabama's top 4. But as far as the rankings, how I would rank it, I think it's perfect the way it is. And would you put in USC in front of TCU? Yeah, I think USC is better than TCU, but at the same time, TCU's undefeated and USC got 1 loss. So and then even the games they won, it's not like they've been like blowing everybody out crazy. Like they've been having some 7-10 point games along the way. So
Yes.
it's just
Yes.
it's no way I can put them over an undefeated team.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Cool. Now that CJ Stroud has lost his favoritism in the Heisman, who do you guys think is going to win the Heisman?
Yeah, it's got to be Caleb
Unless they
Williams.
lose.
And like you said, yeah, unless they lose. But like you said earlier, like, and if Corum played this weekend, he might be number 1 because that second running back from Michigan went up there and put like 150 plus on him, bro. If Corum played this weekend, yes, bro, like it would have been absolutely ridiculous. He would have been number 1 in that list. But sadly, he was hurt and everything. So it's Caleb Williams, and I also think that if Bama didn't lose multiple games, it'd be Bryce Young. But right now, it's just like the college football playoff, like the thing I said about McElroy. It's not who's best. It's just process of elimination. You got to keep taking guys away because they're not winning enough. So
that's what the crazy thing is. It's like when you think about it, you beginning of the season we said CJ or Bryce. In the middle we said Hendon. Later on we was like CJ has won it. Now it's Caleb.
Yep. It's just teams just keep taking themselves out of it. Max Duggan is the second in odds right now. Like according to Vegas, that's gross. Like, bruh, Max Duggan,
TCU's quarterback. And just think, Drake May had talked too. Blake Corum.
Yep.
Quentin Ewers. Oh my God, I pushed that Quentin Ewers agenda. I pushed it. I did. Oh my God,
that's so good. Is it better?
Nah, Bijan Robinson. Nah,
that guy.
He would have got it.
Yeah, he's one over.
And it's like it's so crazy. It's so crazy because now like, hey, we seen all these teams posted like the best players saying goodbye to the stadiums, and like CJ Stroud had to do an interview with like where people like questioning him. They're like, what do you think fans would think about you if you leave? This your last game in the horseshoe. He was like, I hope they know I put in a lot of work. Like, dang, like your fan base doesn't mess you like that.
I know way. I was about to say I ain't never heard of that. I thought they liked.
Yeah, he was like, I know what people are gonna think. He's never won that game. He was like, he's never won a Big Ten championship. He was like, and I completely agree with that. So he was kind of, playing that bit. I know he was doing because I do it when I'm but.
Trying to be humble about
it. Yeah. That's exactly what he was doing.
But nah, that's how it is though. Yeah, that's how it is though. And so now he's on to the league now.
Yeah.
And but now it's like what's gonna happen for Marvin Harrison Jr.?
They're gonna try to find another guy. They're gonna see. Wait, I don't know who that other quarterback is they have on the roster.
No, he can't. He's just a sophomore.
Yeah.
That Biletnikoff's gonna be serious. It's gonna be between him and Jordan Addison.
I mean, they got other quarterbacks on the roster. I'm seeing a bunch of guys on here right now. Second guy looks like is McCord. He's played a few games this season.
So nasty. Okay, now it's championship weekend. Friday, it's between Utah and USC. Who Who do you have?
I absolutely need TCU and USC to lose this weekend so that Bama can slip in. I need that to happen. But do I think it's going to happen?
Nah.
Utah already beat USC once before. We all know how hard it is to play a team twice and beat them twice. I don't think it's happening. So I'm going to take USC in that.
USC.
Yeah, I'm taking USC. Like, if Utah beats them again, yeah, USC, you are a fraud.
That's crazy.
TCU and Kansas State.
Kansas State. I don't think TCU is taking that.
No. I remember I said this like in the middle of the year when they first played. You were like, TCU's gonna blow them out. Like I remember you saying that specifically. Now I was saying you're on the K State. No.
Hey, but didn't they do that though, when they played?
They didn't blow him out. Adrian Martinez got hurt.
Oh yeah, I remember we talked about this, bro. What? We were talking about Adrian Martinez, bro. But for real, I think Kansas State has a chance to beat them this time. Once again, it's the same thing. Like, you can't play a team twice and beat them twice. Like, that's just it's very rare that happens, bro. Very rare. Even if they ended up playing Texas, if Kansas had beat Kansas State, I think they would have lost to Texas.
No, I promise you, if TCU was to play Texas, TCU would get.
Yes, bro. Like, they barely slid out of that. Like,
they would get worked.
They barely slid out of Baylor. Like, bro.
That's so nasty. LSU versus Georgia.
I like LSU.
Georgia. You're funny, bro.
Oh, what?
I know I'm tripping. Georgia gonna kill LSU, man.
Yeah, it's not gonna be good, bro.
The spread 17.5. Y'all taking that?
No. That's a little too much.
I am. LSU's so dog.
LSU, like, to me, they're bad, like, but I don't think they're so bad that they won't, like we've seen Georgia. I don't know, something about them, like, bro, they like to play up and
Georgia
down to the
show up when they need to show
sometimes.
up, though. We seen
they show up. I give them that, but like they like to play up and down to their competition. I don't think it's a chance they lose this game, but I don't think they cover that spread. Like they might start off slow, like they have.
See, the reason I say they do cover that spread is because when Georgia goes up with these games where it's like, I don't know, they ain't really been doing nothing. Like, I don't know if I'm feeling that spread. Like, it's like a big game. They show up like the Oregon game. Everybody's like, it's probably gonna be a close one. Blew them out. Tennessee. It was a close one. It was the other way. It was like Tennessee way. Like Tennessee finna beat Georgia. What we did, worked them. So my thing is Kirby does a very, very great job at preparing his team and getting them hyped up for those big games. So yeah. I'm what we call our prediction, but whenever we do that, but just know it's gonna be over 17. It might be dead at halftime. I'm not lying.
The thing is, I agree with him. The thing is,
that's funny,
bro. We think about it. The only person that can say that worked Georgia since Kirby has been there for is Bryce Young. Jaden Daniels is not comparable to Bryce, and it's like
since Kirby has been there, and that's the only guy that's worked.
Since he came and got his guys and been dominant the way he wants to dominate. No. I can't think.
I can pull up a few losses y'all have had since you've had
Kirby. Kyle Trask, Kyle Pitts, Kyle Trask. We worked him for the first year. Who else? Who else would you say?
Tua and Jalen. Both of them.
Jalen didn't work because Tua cute. Is Tua better than Bryce?
If Jalen didn't work, is
Tua better than Bryce?
I mean, no, I don't. I mean, actually, now, yes. But, like, at Bama, Bryce is the best quarterback we've ever had. But I would still say, I didn't say that, he isn't better. Like, I said there's other guys that have given y'all work, though. Like, y'all forget, there was 2-3 seasons Kirby lost. Like, he was looking like Rick at the start, bro. So.
That's crazy. Okay, Purdue versus Michigan.
Michigan. I take Michigan, but I think this game's gonna be close, bro.
That's the thing.
I think it's hilarious. If Michigan, bro, that's the only thing that makes me mad. If they
If
lose,
Michigan
they're still
loses-
going to be in. That's the only thing that sucks to me. Because they shouldn't be if they lose. They should not be in there if they
Lock
lose.
right
They
now.
lose.
Unless they get blown out,
Okay.
then they'll be up for debate.
Yeah, they have to get beat by like 14, 20 plus. Really, like, sadly.
Clemson versus North Carolina.
Clemson.
I'll take Clemson, but I think this one will also be close as well.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm taking North Carolina.
No.
If Josh Downs play, I'm taking North
He played
Carolina.
last game. And they just lost to NC State.
But we ain't gotta think about it. When these bowl games come up, we're gonna see a lot of people saying they're not playing,
Yeah.
and it's like,
It's going to be coming up soon.
yeah, and then transfer portal gonna go crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And after conference championship, it's gonna go crazy. We're gonna be so many names, and it's gonna be a couple of surprises where we'll be like, whoa.
Y'all already seen the coaches going crazy. It's Black Monday. Like,
Them folks getting packed up.
yeah.
Yeah, so Zamir, any last thoughts on college football?
Nah, go Dogs, man.
Justin, Bama fan, not in the postseason right now. How do you feel?
Sit back and watch everybody else mess it up, bro. If Bama makes it into this playoff, there's going to be a lot of teams that are scared, bro. I won't lie. Like, y'all are not going to be happy for that. Like,
On God, Georgia will not be scared.
Georgia might not be scared, but they should be more worried than any other team is number 4.
No.
Who else at number 4 would you be more scared of? You scared of USC? You scared
No.
of Ohio State? TCU?
God. Ohio State, I ain't gonna lie. Marvin Harrison Jr.
Not
is
worried
crazy.
about. I'll gladly take Ohio State over Alabama in 1-4.
Yes, bro. That is the scariest team y'all can face at that number 4 spot. It is not because of talent, this, that, blah, blah, blah. It's because we know y'all. It's because they know each other, bro.
It's
Yes.
so hand in hand.
Yes, bro. Like, that's what it's
That's
always
the-
been.
That's the only thing. But other than that, like we gonna blow everybody out by 20.
But I'm gonna push a little bit of my narrative, bro. I'm gonna really elaborate it on my podcast.
Okay, say it.
I'll be recording tomorrow for at least that portion of it.
Uh-huh.
But a little sneak peek. This is the beginning of the end for Dabo. This is the start of
Well,
the
this
end.
is the middle
for
of
Dabo.
the end. I mean,
Nah, bro.
back end of the end.
Bruh, nah, because right now they still aren't calling for his head yet,
I'm
which
just
is
saying,
kind of
like,
crazy.
he's declining, though.
But
Nah, we can say that about Ryan Day.
Ryan Day was never nobody to me. Ryan Day was just put in a position where he didn't really have to do much.
to me, Ryan Day can continue to do what he's doing right now and stay there for at least another 5 years, probably, before they're like,
Oh,
okay,
no.
we're done.
They have to win.
If he keeps losing to Michigan,
If they keep losing to Michigan, no. But if they make a Big Ten championship within like next year, 2 years from in the next 2 years, like I think that saves them another 3. Like that's all he really has to do, bro.
I feel like
he
at this point, just making it is not going to cut it for Ohio State. Every year they're going in as the on paper best team in the Big Ten. Like they have to win it. Like they have to win it.
I'm sorry, but yeah, like Ryan Day, he's lost to Michigan twice. If you lose a third year in a row, you're going to.
I feel like yeah.
I agree with that. That's almost what got Harbaugh
You're already
fired.
hearing
He
criticism
kept losing
right
to
now.
Ohio State.
So
Yeah, like I think he was just blessed to have. He was blessed to have CJ, JSN, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, like all these offensive guys. And on defensive end, he didn't have to coach defense. Offense, he was hands on, but defense, he doesn't really care about. So like he can't do that no more. He has to be hands on both sides. I just think he's not.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
I give you that. Yeah.
Well, that wraps up the college football episode. Justin, Zamir, I'm your host Jonathan. Signing out. Peace.